What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome to Secret Life of Horror. My name is Danny. I know it's been about 3 months since I've been able to make a video. It has been pretty hectic. As I was last talking about, the movie theater did close down where I was working at. Rest in peace, Apex Cinema / Green Country Cinema. But I do have a new job now, and so it's been a little bit busy, kind of getting on track with the new job, new schedule and everything. And I've been wrestling pretty much every single weekend, and so I'll put in a couple of promotion dates because I have a lot of upcoming matches. But it's spooky season. I knew it wouldn't be right if I wasn't making at least some sort of content during this month, and it just feels right. Feeling back in my groove again, feeling like me a little bit again. And so I do want to thank you for staying tuned, staying caught up, watching my previous videos and stuff like that. But today I'm going to be showing you my picks for my 31 Days of Halloween marathon. I do this every year. I always pick movies that I want to watch, or designate every single day too in October to do like a 31 Days of Horror, because I love horror year round, but you get to feel a little less weird about liking it in October, I guess. And it's weird because horror's definitely become more mainstream since I've been doing this, and so gradually it's kind of become more and more popular at times too. But it's really cool. It's a tradition that I've always done. And so there are 15 movies that I'll be going through today. And this year I'm going kind of with a different theme. I always do like different kind of styles. Like one year it was almost all Universal Monsters kind of oriented. One year it was all movies that was streaming. And this year is actually all movies that I or my brother either own on DVD. And so it's pretty cool because it's movies to me that scream Halloween, that feel right for the spooky season, and just really good overall recommendations. These are my recommendations to you, the people that I post to on Facebook and my Instagram. Check out my Instagram, Secret Life of Horror. But anyways, without further ado, I'll go ahead and jump right in. So day 1 of October, I had to go with none other than the classic, The Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I did highlight in my post my autograph right there from Ed Gwynn, who played the truck driver. I love The Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It's a super sentimental movie to me nowadays. Just means a lot. Just always one of my all-time favorites, and it's just a classic. And so I felt like it was a perfect movie to bring in on the 1st of October, not only because of that, but it also released originally on October 1st, and so it's really cool to kind of have that anniversary date cemented in there as well. And so yeah, that was my first choice to start the month off. And so second, this is from the 80s, and I wanted to go a little bit obscure with it, and it is Anthropophagus. And so this is a movie that I got from my friend Brian Conrad. Oh, there you go. How my face, see if it'll focus up. A really, really good movie. It's a little slow in the slower end, but it's one of your classic slashers you can't go wrong with. It's not exclusively Halloween time, as it could be related as a summer movie, but it does set the mood. It does feel like a classic horror movie, and I felt like it was one to really help set the pace with Texas Chainsaw Massacre to continue in that kind of splatter sort of trail. It is the video nasty. There's very nasty at times, so do be cautioned if you do watch Anthropophagus. I know Joe Bob Briggs did it last drive-in if you'd like to watch it with some stats and some other cool like summary things part of it. A really great movie. It is Italian, I believe, but yeah, I love Anthropophagus. And so third, on the 3rd day of October, I wanted to go classic, and so this was the first time watch since getting this DVD, and that was Count Dracula. So this one was made in 1970, and it, of course, starring Christopher Lee as Dracula himself. And if you have seen the 90s Bram Stoker's Dracula, this is literally the same movie. Almost the exact story to a T, except that the effects aren't as good. But it's really cool though, watching it in the terms of Christopher Lee, because I'm used to seeing Gary Oldman in this role, where like with an older Dracula and changes to a younger Dracula, the story of like Renfield being crazy and in the hospital, stuff like that. Really cool stuff, especially if you have seen that 90s version. It is really cool, you know, like Keanu Reeves and stuff like that. Really fun movie. I'm glad I got to watch this one, and I'm glad that I got it on DVD, because it was one that I seen at Dollar General, I believe, and I just decided to pick it up. But I'm glad I got to add it to my list, because it was definitely worth the watch, and you should watch it too if you haven't. I'm not sure if it's streaming anywhere, but yeah, really cool adaptation of Dracula. And so this is another 70s movie, speaking of. Well, this is a remake of a 70s movie since I've done the 2 other 70s movies. That is Rob Zombie's Halloween. If I can get the focus. Yeah, so Rob Zombie's Halloween to me is a really good. Oh, it's trying to focus on me. It's really good as its own Halloween movie for sure. I know a lot of people don't like the how much it varies from the original story, but I think it's a really good, gritty grindhouse film. I was telling my brother, if Rob Zombie had made this movie standalone and not as part of the Halloween franchise, he would have had one really good slasher on his hands. But it is part of the Halloween canon now, I suppose, but a really good movie. I especially love the kills, and this one that I had to add on just because I was really feeling that slasher instinct whenever I picked it. But also it just really is a Halloween themed movie. It feels like Halloween when you're watching it. It kind of sets the mode, or sets the mood for the season, I think. And so, what day is this? So we're on day 5, and so this one is continuing in the Rob Zombie trend. That is House of 1,000 Corpses. If I get it to focus, there we go. Oh, let's see. Golly, yo, don't want to focus at all, huh? There we go. So House of 1,000 Corpses. Be really surprised if you haven't seen this, as it's starting to become more and more mainstream. It was Rob Zombie's first movie. Really, really gritty movie. It takes place on Halloween. I think this is the first one other than Halloween that has taken place on Halloween. But it's one of those that is a memorable movie for sure, especially with the characters. Kathy Spaulding, Louis Driftwood, stuff like that. You've seen it, probably. There's not a whole lot to talk about with it, other than it's a good Halloween movie. It's one of those movies in the early 2000s that was really trying to separate itself from the 90s and other things that the genre had accumulated at that point that kind of held it down. And so it's really cool to kind of go into that, not gore porn, but that real gritty, almost steampunk-ish kind of vibes. And so it's a really good movie, like another one that was just really needed for the Halloween season, and one that I hadn't done yet, and so kind of surprised I haven't done that in my marathon yet. And so keeping it in the early 2000s, day 6, Signs. Fantastic alien movie. Let's see if I get that to. I mean, it kind of focuses better when my face is in there, I guess. Signs, really fun movie. M. Night Shyamalan. It's about pretty much the alien invasion, and it's like a conspiracy of what's really happening and stuff like that. And this family, they live in a on a farm, and there's like crop signals going on in their fields and stuff like that, and so they're directly being affected as they're going through their own paranoia and conspiracy theories on if this is really happening. And so it's a really, really good, I guess, thriller. It's not exactly horror, but it does have all those horror elements that you love from an alien movie and conspiracy type of movie. But really well done, one that I needed for day 6, and one that I'm also happy to have on DVD. That's one that I grew up watching all the time, and I love Signs. So next up is a little bit on the horror comedy side. It was day 7 because day 7 was a full moon, so I had to go in the werewolf end, and that was An American Werewolf in Paris. Let's see if I can get the focus. There we go. Really good movie. This was another one I grew up watching all the time. I used to hate the character Andy, this guy. It's a bit of a different one. The story pretty much follows Andy and his friends are like daredevils. They go to Paris, and he ends up getting caught up with this girl who has a weird secret, and it turns out she's in a group of werewolves who have this drug that can turn themselves anytime. They don't need a full moon or anything like that. So a really, really unique concept, especially with the whole thing taking place in Paris. So it has all of the things that you love about American Werewolf in London, and uses some of it. It doesn't use every single thing, but it does kind of have that same comedic aspect that John Landis went for. And so I do love this adaptation. It is a pretty good sequel, even though it's not at all connected. But it's a fun movie. It's a really fun time. As a kid, it was one that I watched all the time. So check that one out if you haven't, especially if you like werewolves, because it's a just classic werewolf movie. So day 8, we have one that actually scared me as a kid, and this was one that I used to actually refuse to watch this until I was like a teenager, and it's Darkness Falls. If you haven't seen this, it's pretty much about the Tooth Fairy. The Tooth Fairy that kills you in the dark, pretty much. That one was really perfect for Halloween time because not only is it scary, but it sets the mood. And it's filmed in beautiful Maine, and so it's just really nice fall setting, pretty much the entire movie. But it is also just a rather scary movie. I do like movies that can kind of scare you a little bit, or at least make you scared of something at some point. And right after I watched this movie this last time, I walked to Taco Bell, which is just down the road a little ways, and I had to walk through this dark patch, and I was like, oh man, you know what movie I just watched? And so I actually kind of scared myself a little bit. But a really good movie. I love Darkness Falls. Really fun to watch every time. Watch that one if you haven't. And so this one is a little bit more on the rare and obscure side, and this is for day, what, 9? Yeah, day 9, and that is Tales from the Dark Side. This is an anthology, and I know you're thinking of the TV show. This is pretty much a spin-off / sequel to the TV show. It's still in that anthology style, kind of telling different stories all throughout. But there's a story about a evil cat, gargoyle, I guess, type monsters. I know there's like a mummy and like zombies. Really fun movie though. I love Tales from the Dark Side. It's one I didn't see until actually kind of recently, last couple years. And it's just always a fun watch. It's another one that very much feels like the Halloween season. Kind of like how like Practical Magic feels like the Halloween season, just has that aroma to it. Or it just has the aesthetic and the mood of the fall. And so I just really like those movies. And those especially get a hand in whenever I'm looking to pick movies for this season and for this marathon. Which is exactly why I picked this next one, which I consider John Carpenter's most underrated movie, and that is for day 10. That is Village of the Damned. Honestly, one of the greatest remakes of all time. Village of the Damned is an outstanding movie. Pretty much follows this town that everyone gets blacked out, and when they wake up, all the women are pregnant, and they all decide to have their babies, and all the babies that are birthed because of this event are super smart and all have like white hair and are evil. And so it's really cool because it's almost like Carrie too. They have the ability to like control things with their mind. So it's that very much, I think the original did come out in the 60s, but it's very much that like 60s almost Invasion of the Body Snatcher era type of movie. And so it's really cool seeing it done in the more modern-esque time. And Christopher Reeves, who plays Superman, is in it. Mark Hamill, who plays Luke Skywalker, is in it. Kirstie Alley is in it. Just a really well done film. Like I said, I think it's John Carpenter's most underrated because it's just all the way great film. Especially the soundtrack. The soundtrack is super memorable. I love Village of the Damned, and always a fun watch. And so next up, day 11, Bones. Early 2000s movie. If you haven't seen this, you are sorely missing out. Of course, starring Snoop Dogg. What's really cool about this one is it feels like a time capsule, especially of the urban underground at that time, like D12 and One and stuff like that. Like, it very much feels like a time capsule at that time. And so a really great movie. It's pretty much a vampire / haunted house kind of movie. And Jimmy Bones is seeking revenge on the men that killed him. And so it's really cool the way they do it. And really a phenomenal soundtrack as well. And this is one that just very much feels like Halloween as well. Especially whenever it's like a colder Halloween. Like the last few years, it's been like in the 30s for Halloween and stuff here. And so that one very much feels like that when you gotta have your coat on and stuff. But love Bones, love that movie. Check it out if you haven't. I think that might be on Netflix, I'm not sure. But I have it on DVD, so I don't gotta worry about that. Next up is one of my all-time favorite movies, and that is Santa Sangre. Now, not exclusive, let me see if I get that focus. Not exclusively a Halloween time, but a phenomenal horror movie any time of year. To me, this one does feel like the Halloween season in some sense, but it's just a really good movie that I really just wanted to have a reason to watch and to talk about. I love Santa Sangre. I love getting the chance to show it to people for the first time. And it's one of those movies that a lot of people will still to this day haven't heard of. And I love Jodorowsky's vision for not just the circus, but just kind of the metaphor for trauma, realistically. This is a really good film, and it's pretty much what I'd call it, like the Mexican or the Spanish Psycho, essentially. And so it's really, really well done. If you haven't seen that, you're missing out. So next up is an Italian movie, and another one that's very under the radar, that is Cemetery Man. So yeah, this one is Italian, I believe, and let me see if I get that to focus better. It's just a really fun one. A little bit of a horror comedy, a little bit of a rom-com at times too, but it follows, what's his name? Francesco. It follows him, and he's like a caretaker of the cemetery, and like every single night zombies come up from the grave, and so he's just constantly killing these zombies. And so at the same time he ends up finding love, and he still has to like take care of his co-caretaker, I don't know what it is, his buddy. He's like trying to take care of him while take care of these zombies at the same time. So it's a really good movie. Almost has that Mice and Men feel in that sense. But I love the almost existential feeling that this movie has. And yeah, it's one that I just felt like would have been fun to add to the marathon this year as well. And so I'm glad I did, and it was always a fun watch, and so I'm glad I got to watch it again, or have another reason to watch it again, I should say. And so day 14, this is a newer one, I think the newest one on this list so far. And that is one of my favorite independent movies, and that is Malum. So 2023. So this is my 4K. So shoot other sleep. Dog Larry. I love Malum. I have gotten the chance to meet a few members of the amazing cast, and the director, Anthony DiBlasi, amazing director. And so this is a remake of Last Shift, if you haven't seen that. Last Shift essentially follows a cop that is taking his first shift is the last shift at the old police station. And Malum reimagines that to where it's the cop's father, and their father worked there, but he had like committed suicide. And so it's really cool, just kind of the tie-ins with the original story and just the new reimagining. And the way it's executed, I think it's executed just perfectly well, and it's pretty scary. I watched it last night in the dark, and it was just really well done. Because I've seen it so many times, and so it's one of those movies I can watch almost non-stop. I'll probably end up watching it again, hopefully within the next year, because it's just one that I always enjoy watching. So last up, I know it's a long video, but last up, I have my number 15, day 15, and that is Sleepwalkers, Stephen King's Sleepwalkers. This is a movie I just always enjoy watching, always enjoy having a reason to watch it. It pretty much follows this girl, or these teens in this town, and there's a new guy in town, and he's like a school kid that everybody likes, and he's just friends with everybody, but he turns out to have a secret. Him and his mom both have a pretty big secret, literally. And so it's really cool to watch this movie, kind of have that sleek, but it's still scary at times. It has that almost slasher type vibe to it, but still that Stephen King vibe where you have no idea what's going to happen. And so always a fun one. I love Sleepwalkers. But anyways, that's my 15. That's my first 15 for the 31 days of Halloween. And so I will be coming back at you with the other half, probably closer to time, probably around the 30th, 31st. So keep a lookout for that. As I will get closer to time, I will be posting about it as well. But anyways, I do want to thank you so much for watching my comeback video, watching me talk about my movies that I picked to watch for Halloween. And go ahead and watch these too if you want to feel in the Halloween spirit. Be on the same vibe as me, because this is what's getting me into the spooky spirit. And so I do thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.